This Ice Age scene lasts 1.7 seconds. It was visible in early releases. It does not exist anymore, and it wasn't removed for pacing. It wasn't removed for clarity. It was removed because it breaks the entire Ice Age timeline. Not later, immediately. Because this frame shows something that should not exist in Ice Age's world. And once you see it, the franchise can never fully recover. Keep this image in mind, because everything after this depends on it. Ice Age operates on one foundational rule. Humans existed, then vanished. Their disappearance resets the planet. Animals inherit the world. Evolution starts clean. That rule isn't implied. It's structural. Every story beat relies on it. But this frame violates that rule outright. Not symbolically, not metaphorically, literally. It shows human presence at a time when the story says humans are gone. Not ruins, not fossils, not memory. Presence, which means overlap. And overlap is dangerous, but not for the obvious reason, because coexistence isn't the real problem. Influence is, because influence doesn't require dominance. It requires proximity, and proximity changes behavior. Now look at Ice Age animals closely. They don't behave like animals. They cooperate instantly. They trust across species. They protect without survival pressure. Predators hesitate when biology says they shouldn't. Enemies negotiate without conditioning. That doesn't happen naturally, and it doesn't happen quickly. But here's the part most people miss. They don't just cooperate. They organize. Leadership forms immediately. Roles appear fully formed. Strategy exists without trial and error. In real ecosystems, this takes generations. Here, it happens from the start, and instinct cannot produce structure that fast. Structure requires learning, which creates a question Ice Age never answers. Where did that structure come from? Because Ice Age never shows animals learning. There's no gradual adaptation, no failed attempts, no behavioral evolution. They begin already prepared, which means the intelligence didn't originate with them. And that's when the missing frame stops being random. Because traces of the same implication appear later. Knowledge without origin, coordination without development, problem-solving without experience. Certain characters respond to danger as if they've encountered it before, even when the story says they haven't. Not memory in the human sense, something older, residual, as if intelligence didn't vanish with extinction, as if it transferred. And once you see that pattern, the erased frame makes sense, because Ice Age faced a structural choice: either expand the world or simplify it. Expanding meant explaining intelligence, explaining influence, explaining why animals weren't starting from zero. But that explanation leads somewhere uncomfortable, because it reframes the story, not as animals surviving a frozen world, but as a world shaped by inheritance, by intelligence outliving extinction, by knowledge crossing species boundaries. That version of Ice Age doesn't reset, it remembers, and memory breaks the franchise's foundation. So the solution was simpler. Remove humans entirely, while keeping a world already shaped by their presence. That's the contradiction. The frame wasn't dangerous because of what it showed. It was dangerous because of what it forced to be explained. Because once viewers notice it, they stop watching Ice Age as a survival story and start watching it as a cover-up. So the frame disappeared. No announcement, no clarification, no correction. Because erasing one image is easier than rebuilding an entire timeline. Ice Age wants us to believe that moment never mattered, but scenes don't vanish unless they're a threat. They don't disappear unless they contradict something bigger. So the real question isn't whether the frame was real. It's this: how much of Ice Age was rewritten before anyone thought to look for what was missing?